First, I'm just grabbing develop air and going to set it out in the field. All right, here's a nice spot to place it in. Just going to plug in the battery, let it boot up. It's not a fully charged battery, but it's still, let's say, 80% or more. Once we get back to the computer, we still need to get the telemetry radio out and plug that in. We're just using one of the MLRS telemetry radios. All right, we have a solid connection. And I'm gonna see if I can prop this up using a cardboard box. Right here, handy in the Les Brew. And now I'm getting some props out of my backpack. Not like movie props, but drone props. All we need is 4, 2 red, 2 black, 1 red with a silver tip, 1 red with a black tip, and then similar for the black. All right, let's go put the props on. We'll do opposite corner first. Not strictly necessary, but good habit for both this and installing screws for screwing. This is the greatest screwing technique. All right, all props are on. Let's hope all 4 stay on for the entirety of today, as long as we want them to stay on. All right, connect to drone. All right, look at that, 17 satellites, an almost fully charged battery. There's our office, but let's zoom into the drone park where we're at. All right, and now let's go ahead and just get a controller at the ready. I'm not sure how controller testing will go today, if at all, but let's just go ahead and get that ready. All right, have the little USB dongle. Plug that in. I guess first comes first, let's just go ahead and try putting develop air into loiter flight mode. It's in loiter flight mode. You shouldn't even really have to do this. I'm just kind of used to QGroundControl, where you do need to preset it into loiter flight mode. And I'm just going to arm and fly, keeping the initial takeoff altitude at 10 feet and hitting launch. And a whole lot of nothing is happening. Drone has failed to launch while armed to guided mode. So it was switched to guided mode, but not armed and not launch. Let me see if I select loiter, arm, error while sending command, error while sending arm command. Let me try arm and fly again. Drone has failed to launch. Oh, you know why that is? We need to do a compass and accelerometer calibration because this was set up as a brand new develop air. So I may need some help from Brian, our great camera guy here today, but let's see if we can open up QGroundControl now that we disconnected from iVue RoboControl. And we're going to give QGroundControl our current location. Good thing pre-arm checks, work as they should. And we're not disabling them as we used to just bypass sensible checks like this. So that is the case. We need to calibrate the accelerometer, QGroundControl, and the dumb personal assistant lady having to make all this noise. So let's see. I don't know how we're going to do this unless you don't mind being on camera. Just keep the camera pointed here, and or you can point it at develop air, and then we'll just have to select next, as I'm holding it on each side. So if you could do one or the other, we'll show people. I guess, yeah, it'd make more sense to have it over here since we'll be screen recording there. All right, this is about where I'll be positioned. All right, and so at first it's just sitting flat and level like this. Is that correct? All right, hit next. All right, now it's on its left side. All right, hit next. Right side. Need to rotate these props. All right, hit next. Nose down. Hit next. I hear that back sass from here. All right. And upside down. All right. All right, hit OK or whatever it is, and then I'll come back and reboot it, and then we're going to do a compass calibration. All right, before I do the compass calibration, I'm rebooting, and as you can see, one of the downsides of QGroundControl is it will very often crash, just like you saw.
Stabilize flight mode.
And we have found that to be the case almost every time you reboot, at least as of late with this version of QGroundControl. All right, we're back in, sensors, compass, and since you seem to have a good compass calibration dance going, do you want to do it, or do we at least want to attempt it with me first? Here, I'll just say okay, and then if you'll go do it, we'll try that out just to hopefully streamline the process. I hit OK already, so you should be able to do it as soon as you hit or pick it up. And yeah, it looks like you're in frame and at least mostly in focus. Wow, Brian can do more than operate a camera and edit videos and do like pre-production planning and like VFX work. Inconceivable. All right, both in the yellow. One's almost in the green, one's almost in the red. We're gonna rock with it.
Pre-earn. Compass calibrated requires reboot.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably a good idea. I pressed OK again. Compass calibration, take 2. And now I'm gonna give Brian the benefit of the doubt that with props are on, it makes the compass calibration a little bit more awkward, trying to rotate it around. With that extra sort of length you're working with. All right, that is much better. One's in the green and one is almost in the green.
Compass calibrated requires reboot.
So selecting OK, and even though we could have just selected reboot from there, I always like to hit OK there first, just to confirm that those updated settings took effect. All right. I think we should be good to go now. So I am closing out a QGroundControl. I am reconnecting in iVue RC. We have our satellite information, battery status information in the form of percentage and voltage. Let's go ahead and set into loiter flight mode. Developer is in loiter flight mode. We're going to select arm and fly, hit launch, and we are back seeing rotation. What the heck? All right, I'm going to enable the controller, although this could be not good. Let's go ahead and see if anything happens. I don't have the controller plugged in. Have it plugged in now. I have it activated. Now I have it activated, I should say. Going back to drone 1. I'm going to put it into loiter flight mode and we may see it drop here. Hopefully not. Yep. And there went developer. All right. Well, let's go take a look at the damage. And away. Oh, we definitely have a broken landing gear. The GPS dome popped off, but that's nothing that can't be very easily fixed. And then this could even be glued back into place. And if we had glue with us, we could be back up in the air. But I think that's about all she wrote for the testing today. We'll go ahead and get this video edited, put together, share it with Mohit, and then probably the world at large as well. And they could see us, taking one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. That equals 0 steps forward if you're keeping track, but we're moving. So, all right, that's it for this video. You'll see us in the next one.